morning, I'd like to mix up some carrot cake, and I'm going to do mine into cupcakes. I think the grandkids will enjoy it. This is a traditional Easter cake, and it is a delicious carrot cake. I started to make carrot cake when I was an early teen, but I did it with a cake mix, and this is a much better carrot cake. I bought these little toppers for the top of the cupcakes, and so that's going to just add a little bit of bling and be darling. So let's do our dry ingredients first. We have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to put a teaspoon and a half of our baking powder. I've tried a lot of recipes, and this has become my favorite carrot cake. So that's a teaspoon and a half of our baking powder. And then we're going to have our baking soda, and we're going to put in a teaspoon of our soda. Maybe just a tad more, I didn't get quite enough in. And then a teaspoon of our cinnamon. And then we need a half a teaspoon of salt. And that's all it is to the dry ingredients. So we'll give that a little toss here, a little mix. And then we'll set this aside and we'll work a minute on our wet ingredients. I already have 4 eggs cracked in here. And into that, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. And then we're going to add into that 2 cups of sugar. And I'm going to go over here to my stand mixer and mix this up. And then I'm going to put in my dry ingredients, and I'll be right back. So I mixed that in my stand mixer, and I did the wet ingredients first, and then I added in our dry ingredients. And at this point, it's pretty thick, but that's the way you want it, because now we're going to add in a lot of goodness. We're going to add in 2 cups of finely grated carrots. You have carrots, you're making a carrot cake. And then we're going to add in 1 cup of drained crushed pineapple. So 1 cup of drained crushed pineapple. And then I'm just going to gently stir this in. Now, the next ingredient is a half a cup of finely chopped walnuts. And like I always say with the nuts, if you don't want them in there, you can leave them out. And you can use pecans. I'm going to use walnuts in this cake today. And I have a half a cup chopped here. This is such a easy cake to mix up and such a delicious cake. And then we're going to put cream cheese frosting on it. So now I'm going to fold in my half a cup of walnuts. I already have my oven preheated at 350, and these are going to cook for approximately 20 minutes, give or take a few. So as soon as you can put a toothpick in and it doesn't come out wet, you're pretty much good to go. So I'm going to fill now my cupcake holders, and I'm going to stick these in the oven for 20 minutes, and I'll be back. So I did cook the cupcakes at almost exactly 20 minutes, and I got 29 cupcakes. They are a flatter cupcake when you take them out because they are a very moist and dense. Carrot cake is just that way. So I mixed up my frosting while they were cooking, and this is what I have in my frosting. I have 8 ounces of cream cheese softened, 1/2 a cup of butter softened, and to that I add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 3 cups of confectionery sugar. If you like your frosting a little bit sweeter, you can add 4 cups, but I don't like a real sweet frosting. So I already have that in my pastry bag, and I do whip my frosting, the cream cheese and the butter, until it's creamy white. And so sometimes it's a little softer. So I set this in the fridge for just a couple minutes just to get the butter a little bit more, so it wasn't quite so soft. And here is our cupcakes. And now we're just going to have fun, because this is the fun part. And I just have my frosting in a pastry bag, and I just go around and put a nice amount of this cream cheese frosting, which is just so good, onto these carrot cake cupcakes. And then what we're going to do is we are going to add a little bit of bling. So I think it's fun to add some grated carrots. So when I did my carrots, I went ahead. They stick to you a little bit, so sometimes it's hard to get them on there, but that just looks really pretty. And then we have these sticks that I bought with my cupcake papers, and they're a carrot top, and there's the white and there's the blue. And so then I would just go ahead and stick on these little toppers, and it just makes such a little festive. And you do what you want. If you don't want the carrots on top, you don't have to, but I think it just really makes them pretty. I hope you have a good day and are blessed.